And I want to open with prayer in a second. Also, just to let you know, we are going to be streaming this. So I know that it's a little bit of a hassle, but it would be nice to have people, when they ask their questions, have a microphone. So we'll do our best to get one to you as quick as possible so that the people who are watching on the stream can hear the fullness of the discussion that's going on, okay? All right, let's open with prayer. Lord, once again, we thank you for your goodness to us in so many ways. We thank you for the goodness of your word as Jerry was sharing it with us just a little while ago. And for the work that you have done through him and the ministry that he represents. We pray that you would bless our time together now, that you would give us greater understanding and insight into things going on in China and in places where Chinese speaking people are living, and how the ministry is seeking to reach out to them and how we can be part of that. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. All right, Jerry.
All right. Well, thank you again. So for the sermon, the title is not about change of season, but for the education now, we definitely we can use the change of the season.
Changing of season.
Yeah, it's actually it's a big change of season. Just like I mentioned, 2 years ago, it's a totally different story. And a couple minutes ago, I met one of your congregation, and he told me he just went China 3 years ago, and he said, "Oh my goodness, now how come just in such a short time it's a change a lot, change so big, it's big, too. It's for me it's a kind of overwhelming." And we know it's happening. And for example, the tight control on social media, it's not a new thing. It pretty much like from the day one they have the social medias, they already have the control on that. But at that time, just like the social media itself, they don't know what is going to be in future. So it's developing their strengths, and at the same time, the government developing their technology to put on the restrictions. Right now, China has the most advanced censorship technologies. They have they have some AI system. For AI system, they use AI to do the first screening. Then they also have many so-called internet cops do the manual check on that. So it's just but like I mentioned, in the last 10 years, we can still play with the rules, and the social media still play a vital role that time in the last 10 years, especially. So we see it's a renovation. It's a golden opportunity for Chinese, for churches, because even now they are not able to have a newspaper. But like I mentioned, actually the Christian content is overwhelming. But we also noticed one thing about in year for 2017, we did some data research by our staff too. We checked all the Christian contents, but sadly we found one thing. The one has the most views, the top 10, actually all run by non-Christians, because they do it for business, for money. They use this kind of extreme words to attract people. Oh, yeah, to get views, and that's what they did. So that's a bad thing. That we start to see the trend for the WeChat, and sometimes similar like Facebook. It's not as good as before. And also, same time, we saw TikTok. is running the new short video one, short video social media. And we also did some study on that, but we realized we are not the right ministry to do that type of ministry because it's more personal, more for individual, and more for young talent. Even for my staff, yeah, for sure, they are all younger than me. They are all in their 30s, early 30s. But for them, even the TikTok is something is new
For the kids.
for the kids. Yes, but so we are start to think about it's also it's time for us to make some change. But still, the WeChat is there, the opportunity is there. We have to devote our resources is limited. So all we can do is we develop continue invest in the social media. So at the same time, when 4 years ago we moved to Grand Rapids, so we also found out somehow we get the DNA from the DNA as a publishing center for Christian content. We start to publishing books, yeah, and in last couple of years, each year we publish like 4 or 5 books, but it's pretty much like our focus 80% is on social media and new media, maybe like 30% on publishing and others. Now we change because we realize that the season changed.
And you said that publishing, it's not all, is it, what percentage of it is hard copy, paper, and what percentage is like ebooks and those kind of things that you were talking about?
For hard copies, we publish in the States, in Grand Rapids.
Okay.
So for each title, basically from 500 copies to up to 3,500 copies. Okay. Depends on the content. And also, we make all the books available in EPUB, okay, and PDF file. Okay. So pretty much like about equivalent numbers. Okay. Yeah, 500 and also up to 3,500, about like that. And the 2020 is a quite important year for us because before we devote our time on new media, but to most churches, to most Chinese churches, and probably the same to the American church too, they think media is good, media ministry is good, but it's a plus. It's not as vital when pandemic came. When pandemic came, so every church have to move to online. Then suddenly all the churches start to realize, oh, the media important, the media is so important, it's critical importance to them, especially for Chinese churches. So last year, pretty much the first 8 months is so busy for us. We host and also we organize and also we join some webinars to teach Chinese church to how to use media, how to conduct online service. Even we organize some scholars to write some reflections on how to about online worship and about online communion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they have a debate, something like that.
Yeah.
So finally, the churches start to realize the importance of media ministry. So it's a golden year, yeah, right, for us. But this year, it's like I mentioned, it's a very challenging year. So they start from this May. The Chinese government start to have this most extreme tight control and censorship.
Is there any sense as to why all of a sudden this has happened? I mean, I know that the potential is always there for them to do it, and they can go up and down in terms of how tightly they want to keep things closed off, but was there some event or series of events that led to it this time?
Yes. Because the current president is looking for his next 10 years term. So he had to, he doesn't want any different voices. Yeah, that's the current president became president. We cannot see it as the president. Actually, the chairman. Actually, the
Right.
chairman, the general secretary. He became. He took the power 10 years ago. At that time, everybody think he gonna be probably like gonna be more open to the
Right.
Vatican because everyone thought it should be like that.
Right.
But
They thought that Hong Kong was going to spread into mainland rather than the other way around.
so it's Hong Kong is a big surprise for
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah. So like I mentioned, we do have an office in Hong Kong, and right now, so before lots of conference, Christian conference, they can be held in Hong Kong, but not now. Even they trying to publish something in Hong Kong now, they also need to get the permit from government for now. So Hong Kong is already very, very different than before. Yeah. So the government, the current chairman, and he last year he removed, he changed the constitution and make his able to continue for next 10 years, maybe 5 years, 10 years. And just about, I think yesterday or last Sunday something, there's a big conference they just had.
Okay.
They released a paper. It's also paves the road for him to
Yeah.
continue another 10 years of presidency.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Secured his position. I
In
think.
order to secure his position, he has had a very tight control on, like I mentioned, everything, including social media, especially for media
Yeah.
and social media. Yeah. No, I'm from mainland China. Yeah. My mom. And also, I have two brothers. One brother is he living in Japan, another one living with my mom. Yeah.
So the church in China, you talked about trying to train them once the pandemic hit to do things online and that kind of thing. Are they still active online, or is that shut down as well, or what's the situation there?
That's a very interesting story, and as you probably know, one of the largest church in China, in Beijing, called Zion Church, and this church being closed by the government about half a year before the pandemic. So the church leader designed a new way to continue their worship. So they called walking worshiper. So that means everything's go on mobile.
Oh.
So they divide the congregation into like small groups, and they encourage people to to walk together or take a walk during the worship time or at any time you feel convenient to you. So you can work in your community, in your neighborhood, in your park. So you guys listen to the worship and listen to the sermon through the smartphone.
Yeah.
And worship together. So that's 6 months ahead of pandemic. When the pandemic came, this church grew rapidly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So a lot of people, other churches start to learn from them how to do that.
Okay.
And as I know, the church right now started planting small church nationwide, everywhere. Not limited in Beijing, but also in Shanghai, other place. Because government still have the control for the members of people to meet together, like 20 or 30. Okay, let's have a church with 20. Yeah, so it's keep growing. And so far they do also have the censorship on Zoom, on other this like what the video conference, these things. But think about so many that so many churches, so many businesses, they are doing the same thing every day, every moment.
Right.
If you can continue do this this kind of what censorship or something, that's also costs you a lot
Yeah.
to do that. So and also it's hard for them to do and put a head on everything. So so far right now by all the online gathering, it's okay. And the online gathering for the it's a little bit harder to track than anything in text.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there danger for the church there too? I mean, is the danger limited, or is the persecution or suffering limited to shutting down of an online presence, or are there other dangers that the church is facing beyond that?
Right now, most churches they they have their service like in hybrid style. So pretty much like they have a gathering in a very small scale, but they also can use live streaming thing to other small groups. So technically, it's hard to cut on this, but and also it's not as that dangerous as you meet in person.
Okay.
And also it's also depends on time. It's a timing issues. Once they have a big conference, something like that, they usually send the people to a different out of Beijing state to find to for a trip, for a short trip, 5-day trip. When the meeting's over, you can come back. Yeah, it's something like that. One of funny stories, one of the elder from Beijing Watch Church, he been home arrest for a couple of years, even more than 5 years, something. So every time when Chinese CCP have a big conference, something, they try to send him to other place. And when Chinese New Year, one of the chief of the cops came to them. This year, let's go to Sanya. It's like the Hawaii of China. Let's go there. I don't want to go. So no, you should go. I don't want. Why should I go there? So I already been there, you know. So this guy got very angry on him, and finally he realized, oh, it's not because of me. It's for that's a vacation for him. He needed that vacation for him in order to help him
Right.
to go together. So it's a funny, relationship. It's only happened in movies. Actually,
Yeah.
it's happened.
There are a lot of
everything.
things happening that seem like they used to only happen in movies, right? It was
Yeah.
like- Other questions? And rather than running the microphone, maybe I'll just try to restate it. Yeah.
Okay.
The book's in print.
Yeah. The
Are they
program
distributed
print.
in China or elsewhere?
We mainly print in the States. So our the target audience is the Chinese in North America, especially the students here. But we also print books in Taiwan. That means you mentioned from other Chinese speaking place. And also we print in France, and in order to reach the Chinese students and Chinese churches in Europe. Right now, it's increasing. And
Well, and why is that it's increasing right now?
what?
Why is it increasing? Do we know why their numbers in Europe are increasing right
Okay, two reasons. First, you see lots of students, they start to looking for the university in Europe instead of the States.
now? Because
Hard to get a visa,
oh,
and the relationship between China and
Okay.
U.S. makes the parents worry how maybe they're not able to come back if there's something bad happen.
right.
And also another reason, lots of Hong Kong people, they moved to British.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. They left Hong Kong.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we see lots of British churches now. Right now, it's
Interesting.
growing. The number is increasing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
The British church is growing.
Yeah,
because,
it's growing.
People from Hong Kong are moving back.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. We also have some. We print a few titles in China by some Christian publisher. Well, cannot say Christian publisher. It's by some brothers and sisters who want to take that risk to print the book and directly ship the people who trust.
So these publishers then are just little mom and pop shops. They're just a small place. They just crank them out and send the books out. I mean, it's not a large publisher, probably, right? Because otherwise,
Of course,
yeah,
yes,
okay.
it's
a house publisher.
it's
maybe.
yeah, it's a mama pop store, but right, it's not with use old machine, but basically they use the called digital printing things. They can print books with a small amount at a lower price.
Okay.
Like pretty much like each title we print like 300 to 500 copies. Sometimes to up to 1,000 copies. Make the not big enough get enough
Right.
attention.
Can't find them, right?
Yeah.
You had mentioned that, was it 200,000 followers that you had said that some of the online?
Yes, that's our one major account. Is we have that much followers.
And that's shut down now.
Oh.
Do we know, or is there any data on, are those people connected to a church of their own, or are they completely shut off from any Christian teaching right now, or do we know what the situation is with those individuals? I mean, obviously it's going to vary, but
For online content, right now like I mentioned, the reason why we choose new media is because new media is something you cannot really completely shut off. Because once you close one, you can open another one.
Right.
So you can always play the game. But right now, the government control is making it limit your influence, limit your impact. If you have like over 10,000 followers, so that easily for them to get attention.
it's like printing too many books.
Yeah, same thing. For us as a military, usually we cannot play the hide and seek game again because it's too costly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are aiming for a bigger impact, and so that's why we also switch our military more into publishing. Also, publishing books also can. We see the need is also in China. They are not allowed to have any Christian books anymore. Before they have some, like each publisher have 5, 6 books a year, something like that. But right now, totally not. Yeah. So there's a big needs on that. And another reason we moved to publishing is also because we're trying to nurture the indigenous authors. Yeah. Because in the past, most times, lots of the resources are being translated from English. But right now, all the books, we still have translated some good books and some reform good scholars, good books in Chinese. But at the same time, we have also try to have more indigenous writers. For example, right now we have you all know today that's the devotional. We have been translated for 35 years into Chinese. But right now, we also have some Chinese young pastors, and they're writing on the devotionals. Yeah, and we are publishing his book, his reflection on Psalm. Too. Yeah, yeah, and he graduated from Wheaton College with a PhD on Old Testament.
Oh, wow.
And he was a lawyer, and yeah, and also
And still a Christian. That's okay.
yeah. We already had that conversation, right? Yeah, no worry. So then also, he's a young pastor, and like I mentioned, from last year to now, he planned at least like, I don't know, 20 or 30 small churches nationwide.
Oh.
This young guy, yeah, it's about 40. Yeah, only 40. Yeah,
That's young.
yeah, yeah. Mm. Yes, yeah. Just like a family gathering, Now back to all the house church kind
Right.
of a style. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Okay. 10 years ago, we already have this kind of a question and debate. We were going to go more open or do more conservative back to the old time. Everyone will say, oh, gonna be more and more open. Because we see that as a trend. Only one media, economist, the media,
Yeah.
yeah, they are covered. Put Xi, if you can check, 10 years ago, put Xi dressed like an emperor.
Oh, really?
Okay. Wow. When I look back, oh my God, these guys are
They
good.
knew what was going on.
Yeah, yeah. But we always say, this is the darkest time of the year. This is the darkest time. Then we find out, no.
It gets darker.
It can be darker. And today, right now at this moment, I can see it's a darker time. I gotta say, it's one of the dark times. And for sure, next couple years gonna be darker, because that's the next year we will see if he can he can get not the second, the third term or not. So it's gonna be happening next year. That means this year, from now to next year, everything gonna be very. I think you're gonna control even more tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who knows? Like what? Soviet Union, they got so very tight control on everything, such class, just one day. So I hope in my lifetime I can witness that moment. Yeah, I'm very positive on that. Maybe not wait for another 30 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 5 years. Yeah, we don't know.
Pray for that too.
Yeah,
Gosh.
Use what? Oh, before we use radio broadcast from Philippines and South Korea. Yeah. But to right now, for Chinese people, especially younger generation, they don't know what
A
radio
radio
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Chinese people and also most Asian people, they are embracing new technology even more than, I think, more than American. Yeah. And so we, but still, video is still a big thing for younger generation, but it's on internet, all on internet. So we have today devotional, bilingual on internet, and on social media. Even now, we still have the today on WeChat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but we in a very low,
Low
profile.
profile, yes, right.
Yeah. We're still running that. So everything is on social media, especially on WeChat or different apps. But even for ebooks, also all of our ebooks are all available on the Bible apps. Yeah, but the worst news is just last Sunday, one of the most important Bible app being removed by the government again. Okay, yeah. So before we surprised, but right now everyone not surprised.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because we already know that's gonna happen. Yeah.
What kind of ebooks or what are the topics of some of the ebooks that you're?
So basically, we have some kind of direction for the publishing. First, devotionals. We will do lots of devotional, especially some indigenous writers, and also family devotional. Yeah, and that's one of our tradition. We continue from the old times,
Right.
for the devotion. And another one is we talk about new media and all different type of teaching on how to use new media and for ministry. That's our specialty, and we also had 2018. We developed the first called Internet Mission Curriculum. Internet Mission Curriculum. So we developed and for seminaries and for churches to study, to teach them how to conduct mission online. So I even before pandemic I went to Malaysia and taught that, taught the curriculum. And this March, I also, based on that, I developed called New Media Mission Curriculum. It's 12 lessons, audio, all in audio format for a radio seminary. So, it's also we publish a book on, like I mentioned, about how to conduct online service and the theological thoughts and debate on online communion and online service, etc. And we published that book last June, as early as last June.
Wow.
And for Taiwan, the churches in Taiwan, they have very good control on pandemic before, but this year they are not able to have that kind of control. So a year later, so this book become very popular among Taiwan churches. Yeah. So that's another one. It's about the new media. And another one is we call the public theology. So in Christian, how to engage in public life. So that's also the direction. Basically, we're trying to, we're aiming for something not traditional Christian publish, we will publish.
Okay.
That time. And we'll also trying to talk with some difficult questions, not answer difficult, at least to conduct good conversation and study dialogue on the difficult questions.
Okay.
So that's another area we are focusing on.
How many different denominational connections or different types of churches are you working with on a regular basis?
Oh, in China, especially also, first, for most Chinese churches, denomination is not the biggest thing that makes the big difference. Yeah. Second, for radio ministry, for media ministry, we have a strong root with Reform theology, but we don't emphasize or brag on that.
Right.
Pretty much all the different denominations. Yeah, but I think most of Chinese churches more you can call it like a evangelism or like more fundamental.
Okay.
Yeah, and some reform.
Great.
But generally speaking, the Reformed Church in China, they don't have a very good reputation.
Oh, really?
Because they like to argue.
Really?
Yeah.
Never heard of that before.
Okay.
Michelle?
I don't think it's common in Chinese. It's mostly in China. It's very small group of people, yeah, and they don't have that much impact on the entire society. Although the government pay a lot of attention on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other things.
Okay, lots of Chinese churches they do have the campus ministry. Yeah, and also another good example is we just published some testimonies from the student graduated from Peking University and Tsinghua University, just like the Harvard and MIT in China. So we printed their testimonies, and most of these also there's authors, and they live in the States. So they are not just write the book, also distribute the book
Oh, wow.
for us too. Yeah, and actually, the better part is they also raise the funds for publishing this book. Yeah. Yes. We just produce the content. Many actually work together with our partner ministry to distribute and to outreach. Yeah. We have 8 staff in China. So we have to be very careful about the operation there. So my priority is to keep them safe and to try my best to avoid any kind of harassment from the government. But they all know one thing, that's something beyond our control. So once they take the job, they know there's a risk. So this year, I also share with them, anytime and you don't feel good and you feel pressured, you can feel free to leave. We totally understand, but no one leave. They stay, yeah. And personally, I'm being interviewed, or I had tea with the national.
Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Let's have tea.
Yes.
Yeah.
3 times with the national security. So the first time I remember I came back to a hotel about 10 p.m. The 2 gentlemen sat in the lobby. Then they greeted me. Ah, finally you came back. Who are you? So you don't know? You're supposed to know. You come so often, something. You're supposed to know. We are from the, we call national security officer or something like that. So well, I want to have some questions and just some casual talk, something like that. So that during our first time meeting, I shared my testimony with them, basically about how I became Christian and why I joined a ministry. So that's because it's late. It's already 10 after the conversation, already like 11 or something like that. So they work very hard. Yeah, even overtime looks like. Yeah. Yeah. So they also then a couple of days ago we had another conversation, and at that time I realized one thing is they still think that all the churches, all the ministry be funded by American government.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, it's already just so many years. That means they know. I think they know Western society still very little.
Yeah.
So they think, oh, all you so I explained how a nonprofit organization works in the States. And I use them as example, as I just talked to them. So for example, like you guys, you cannot be welcomed by everyone, for sure. And most people maybe don't like you. Yeah. Including me, I first impression, I'm scared because you know everything about me, but I know nothing about you. Yeah. So, but I know what you're doing. It's some jobs not many people understand. So, if you are in the States, probably you can start a nonprofit to take care of your own needs and the needs of your families. So that's you can start to raise funds from people who know you better or from the colleague. Then that's how it works. I use this as an example at the end of our beginning. As that time in a tea house, I asked, "May I pray for you?" These two gentlemen said, "Yes." So I hold their hand and pray for you. I pray for them. When I close my prayer, I see amen in a very quiet one because it's a public, surrounding. They see amen so loud.
They have the freedom to say amen loud, right?
You're right. So basically, treat them as humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks so well. So they have the third appointment with me. Say this time they said, "Well, thank you for praying for us. I really want to. I think we're friends. Can you every time when you come to China, maybe we can meet together, and share something." Oh, I think no, no, I better not. That's something I don't want to, But just 3 times. Yeah, but I do know one time when I left another city, so I had a webinar, not webinar, a seminar with their congregation. When I left, the local officer contacted that pastor. Hey, you had Jerry with you guys, something. Yeah, yeah. So he contacted. Hey, I don't know you are so famous. You're on the list.
Yeah, that's one list you probably don't want to be on.
No, I don't want. But I know every time when I enter the border, they are automatically run an alarm to them.
Speaking of that, and our time is up, but there's a question that to what degree, the social credits thing and all of the video everywhere and the facial recognition and all that kind of thing, to what degree does that restrain Christians and the church?
Well, one thing is something is it's if they don't know you and don't know what you're gonna doing, that's something they most afraid of.
Okay.
But if they know who you are and what you are doing, it's okay.
Oh, really?
Better for them.
Okay.
They want everything in control, under their own control. At least know you are the people. They're not trying to do something
Right.
extreme. So, since then I don't. Every time when when China, I don't I don't preach,
Okay.
and I don't make any public like a seminar or something like that. I try to a little bit more cooperate with, to avoid that unnecessary attention. Yeah.
So in terms of their thinking that the government funds your operation or Christian operations, they then see the church essentially as a tool of the American government.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, our time is up, but
Yeah.
thank you
It's
so
not
much.
not just for church. There's some anything like from Westerns still have this risk to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, like before they encourage student to learn English, but not now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, yeah. Yeah. Even for English, right? Yeah. Just learning English, they don't not. Then they're still allowed, but they're not encouraged.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's
Okay.
it's so great to have you here. Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you
It's an
very
honor
much.
for us to participate in the support of that ministry and of your efforts there. And this is very helpful for us as we continue to seek to pray for you and the whole ministry. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I just want to use a little bit of reflection to close this hour. That's something, at least I make something close to my concept, the change of seasons.
Yes.
And when I moved to Michigan, because I mentioned in the last 2 years I'm not able to travel, but one thing I start to learn is to plant some flowers, daffodils.
Yeah, yeah.
So, wow, so it's amazed me is fall. It's not just the season to harvest apples, but also it's a season to plant.
Right. Well,
And also, even if you plant in fall, you may get flower earlier in spring. And even if the winter is colder, probably the flower gonna be brighter. Wow, that's something I realized. Actually, right now, we are in quite winter days. Probably this year could be the coldest winter this year. But, well, let's see.
good.
It's the time. Yes, it's time to plant seed. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's close with prayer. Lord God, we thank you for the work that. Well, first of all, Lord, we thank you for calling Jerry to yourself through the beauty of your gospel and the sharing of your gospel that he referenced earlier this morning, and the life that is so evident in him from you. We thank you, too, for the work that you have called him to and the rest of the team at Reframe Ministries. Lord, there's much that they are uncertain about in terms of what opportunities they will have or what kinds of directions will be fruitful. We pray that you would give them great insight and wisdom in those decisions, that you would open doors for them, that you would work around whatever barriers are put in the way. And we do pray, Lord, that even though the winter is before us in various ways, that the seeds will go in and the spring will come soon and many flowers will come up. To your glory, we pray, Lord, in your name.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.